The haunting hour is at hand. Ghostly hauntings as time began. Raw side paranormal seeks the truth, looking for some kind of real proof. Creepy floorboards and eerie dark mist. Grab your camera and document this. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the wrong side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s, or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. The icy air touches your neck. You feel like screaming, but you stay in check. Orbs rising up to take the magical flight. You can't believe what's happening tonight. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side. Don't run, don't try to hide. We are catching this all on the raw side.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Raw Side. How's it going? How is it going? I'm going to say hello to everybody. And there is Dotson. Hi, Lurking Spirits. Hello. Hi, Dragon. Hey, Bill. Okay, I understand that you'll be lurking and listening. Hi, Chairman. Who else is hanging out with us this evening? Everybody will be rolling in. I hope I got everybody so far. I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us tonight. We are going to be talking with Ashley and Michael, and they are with Dark Hollow Paranormal Group. And they have a really great story to tell about a investigation that they did during their trip to an old jail. And they have a great photograph, which I've uploaded so I can show you guys so they can discuss the photo and what happened during the time that they caught this fantastic shot. So everybody, please put your hands together and welcoming, tongue gun not there, guys. Welcoming Ashley and Michael to the stage. Yeah. Hi, guys. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Oh, I'm holding on. Do I sound better? I was having mic problems, guys.
Yeah.
You can hear me? Okay, yeah, I switched it over. When I was doing some technical stuff, it switched back over to the regular sound through the computer, and I didn't want that. So that's not how I'm hooked up and ready to roll. So you guys are with Dark Hollow Paranormal, correct?
Yes.
But do you do a lot of stuff just independently, or you do it with the group as well?
I would say probably half and half.
Yes, okay. All right. Now, usually I ask everybody because we all know that everybody, that comes on here is some sort of paranormal investigator or has some history in the paranormal. But I like to ask my guests about themselves. We want to know who Michael and Ashley are before we get into your ghost hunting adventures.
I guess I really got started when I attended IUP. They have a paranormal group on campus. I'm not sure if it's still a thing, but I did like a whole big they had a whole big training session that I did with them, and I did a bunch of investigations with them on campus and off campus. So I've been doing this. I've been investigating since 2011.
Okay. And Michael, what about you? Same? Just or did you just hop on the Ashley train and followed along?
No, I've been interested in it pretty much all my life. We went to Gettysburg a couple of years ago, did a little bit there, and then it just kind of took off more and more from there. You know, investing in more equipment, making it more, getting more evidence each time, and then just kind of built up even more.
Fantastic. Now, could you each tell me and tell everybody in chat, what was your first experience with the paranormal that got you interested in being investigators?
I don't really remember my first one, but one of the more notable ones in the beginning is the building I had my classes in at IUP was haunted, and the air conditioning. So this building didn't have air conditioning. There was an air conditioning unit in the window, and it was one of the digital ones where you have to push the buttons.
All right.
And all of a sudden, in the middle of the lecture, the buttons start getting pushed, and you could hear the beeping, and the temperature changed on it.
Interesting. And Michael, what was about your first experience with the paranormal?
It was a long time ago. So I'm originally from upstate New York, and that's
hi. So am I.
So there's a lot up that way, and just hearing things, seeing things, just kind of drew me into it. Nothing like particular that jumps out that was like, hey, do this is why I want to do it. It was just kind of all together, seeing, hearing things and all that.
Right. So nothing that would be like personally affecting you, like in your own home or anything like that.
No.
Okay. So you guys have just been on a interesting adventure, that old jailhouse, which is incredible. Can you explain the experience? Because I have the picture. I'm going to bring it up so everybody can see, because it's a fantastic shot. It really is. And I'd like you guys to explain the photograph and how you were so lucky to catch that, and the experience of being at the jail itself.
Okay, I guess if you want to start with the photograph. So we did a lot of going around and just walking the entire building. This picture was taken, I believe it was 2:05 a.m. I was taking pictures just as we were walking in sets of threes. So this is actually the first of 3 pictures. The second 2 that came after this, there's nothing on it whatsoever. It wasn't something that we saw in person, and we didn't discover it until I was looking through footage when we were taking a break in our gear room.
Amazing. And it's a fantastic shot. Now, I mean, seeing that, at that moment, I mean, do you remember if there was any kind of environmental changes going on while you were snapping these photos?
No. So directly behind us, there is a solid wall with only one door opening that it goes to a catwalk. So what you're looking at is the original section of the jail. And that catwalk that I'm talking about goes to the new section. So there's only one entrance on the first floor and then one entrance on the top floor where we're at.
Right.
So we came across the catwalk and we were just taking pictures. So it was like we just walked in a room.
So yeah, that's just incredible. Now I noticed that when you do a close-up of the photograph, which I'm sorry guys, I didn't have a time to take the close-up, it actually looks like somebody wearing a uniform.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have any idea who they could be?
No, there's no like corrections officers or anything that we know of that sticks out like a one and done sort of thing. I mean, the jail was open, I think, for 127 years. So
Right.
it could be literally anyone.
Anybody, yeah, because that's incredible history. And as far as anybody else, did you hear of anybody else catching this kind of photograph when they had visited the jail?
So, Unique Paranormal had investigated, I think it was October 12th, and she had reached out to me and said she had caught something in the same location as well, but I think her photograph is more like, it doesn't look like a person. It's just like a white shadow.
Right. Yeah, because you could clearly see that it's a body, a head, shoulders. You can see it all. That's what I'm saying. This is a fantastic photo. And now, as far as the full tour of the jail, were you allowed to have full access, or did you have to go around with the owners of the property?
So we started out with, we had a tour of the entire facility, and then we were left on our own for the duration of our investigation.
Fantastic. Was there anything else that you found while you were doing your investigations, like EVPs or any, like being touched or, just anything out of the ordinary?
Yes, we had a lot of evidence and things that happened while we were there. It was actually a pretty intense investigation.
Wow. So, yeah, could you explain the other things that had happened while you were there?
Yes. So when we took the tour, everything was going great. Everything happy, not thinking much of it. And then when we stepped out of the gear room to actually start the investigation, from that moment on, it was, I just didn't want to be there. So like it was constantly like all eyes were on me and something was constantly following me everywhere I went. So I actually grew up in Evansburg, where the old stone jail is. So this location has actually been on my bucket list, and I've waited for quite a few years for it to open back up to investigate. So if I didn't have that behind me and I truly wanted to be there, that investigation wouldn't have happened. Like it was that intense.
Wow.
It was not a good feeling. I had to take a lot of breaks. At one point, he actually went off on his own because I couldn't bring myself to go to the dungeon at that point in time. It was
so it was just like a heaviness that you were feeling, or any kind of like restriction of breathing, or
it was just like I shouldn't be there and they didn't want me to be there.
Oh, okay.
So generally when we investigate, we have quite a few pieces of equipment, and I like to use a lot of equipment, but I couldn't even get myself to bring out the equipment. Like I was just that on edge that, like, for instance, we have a dead bell, and I couldn't bring myself to even bring it out because even hearing that bell go off, that was just another layer that I didn't know if I could take. It was that intense.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Did you notice any kind of environmental changes while you were feeling that way? Like, did you document like temperature change or, air quality, like your vision? Was any of that disturbed during the time that you were feeling that way?
So it was constant. Like it never let up. So I wouldn't say that there were any instances like I was feeling like that and there was a temperature change.
We start finish for you.
Yeah. I mean, there were certain instances where we documented that there was a clear temperature change. But it wasn't directly related to how I was feeling because it just never stopped.
All right. So yeah, the minute you walked through the door, that was it. That's how you felt for the duration of the investigation.
Yeah, and it more affected her than me. Like
Right.
I was able to go to the dungeon on my own, to the rec room on my own, pretty much walk through the whole place on my own.
Right.
He had to take her break to recompose herself to come back in. And it more got the majority of the evidence was while she was in there. So it's
All right.
definitely attracted to females.
Oh, all right. So so when you were off on your own, you didn't experience anything on your own.
I mean, I heard things. You could hear walking down in the dungeon. I didn't get a whole lot down in the dungeon when I was there alone, but when she went down there with me, it was a completely different feeling than when I was down there by myself.
Yeah, and as far as history goes on the building, what kind of history did you dig up, or do you know about the jail itself? I mean, you said it's over 100 years old, correct?
Yes, I believe it was built, I'm going to say 18. I can't remember. It is in the 1800s. I can't remember offhand now. So there was the original 80 cell section where this picture was taken.
Right.
And then because of overcrowding, they also built the new section on directly behind the jail and extended it. I think the most infamous story of this jail is of Smitty. So he is the prisoner that they couldn't hang. So he was on trial. He was set to be executed. And when the guards went in the next day, he wasn't there. So there is either some people believe he never left, or some people believe he escaped.
Okay.
So it's like a local legend.
So this was just strictly a male institution. It wasn't.
No,
there was never any female inmates, or.
Yes, there was also a women's ward in the old section as well.
Okay, so pretty much, because this was the only jail in town at the time.
So Evansburg is actually the county seat in Cambria County. So that is why the jail was built there. The courthouse is 3 blocks away.
Okay.
Down. And then the only reason why that we know of, that I know of offhand, so they built a much larger prison about 2 miles down the road. And when that opened, this one closed.
Okay. So yeah, that's pretty incredible. What did you experience while you were there, Michael?
It was a lot of, we had a lot of maglite activity, a lot of REM pod activity. You could hear the walking, you could hear knocking. Down in the rec room, there was a shadow figure walking across the one side of the room. And there was a couple of different EVPs. Like, we didn't hear them, but the camera heard it and the recorder heard it. But we couldn't audibly hear it.
Right.
There's times when we're around like Smitty's cell, you could hear yelling from like the newer section of the bullpen area. You could hear people like yelling, but it was like nobody outside, anything like that.
Right. Fantastic. As far as equipment, how much do you depend on your equipment, or do you rely more on your own senses when you're doing an investigation?
For me, it's a mix of the two. The equipment's nice to have, but your intuition and like what you're sensing is more validating to me than the equipment.
Right. Because that's as one of the questions I always say to somebody, because I always consider the equipment just experimental. I mean, we need to do the experiments, but I love it when everybody says that they rely more on their own senses than they do on the fancy gadgets. Your feelings, Ashley? What do you you rely more on yourself as an investigator and your own senses, or do you think that the equipment helps?
So I think your senses have a lot of importance, but I think the equipment helps you validate what you're feeling.
And now, when you start out your investigation, you do a run through. Do you, because everybody has, the K2 meter, do you run through there to check for any kind of EMFs and any kind of disturbances before you go through and start your investigation?
Sometimes, not all the time. It kind of depends on where we're at and what our game plan is.
Okay. So as far as did you use it for this one? Did you do a run through to see what kind of electricity was still running through, or was it a totally dead building?
So with this building, we could actually, all the breakers were shut off. There is electric to the building, but you can actually hear the buzz of the electricity while all the breakers are shut off. So it's still very present.
Okay. Did you feel that caused any kind of interference or contamination to your equipment?
No.
No, we weren't even getting spikes in most of the areas we were in on the equipment.
Okay. Fantastic. I just the photo itself just, really puts me in awe, because it's one of the better photos I've seen.
Yeah.
And it really is. You guys were really lucky. That is just incredible. Do you plan on going back there?
Yes. We really want to go back, and we want to bring the team with us as well and try to because we really enjoy ourselves, and it was one of the better locations that I've been. And it's kind of one of those, it was such a great experience for us that I want them to experience it as well.
Yeah, I don't blame you. If I was there, I'd go in a minute.
Yeah, because when we originally booked it, it was actually right before we joined the team.
Okay.
So when we originally booked it, we weren't even with the team yet.
Oh, okay. So you guys got to enjoy it by yourselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's great. So are they looking forward to going back with you? What is it? What is your plans to go back? Is it soon, or do we have to wait until next year? Or
it'll probably end up being next year, because we have investigations already booked.
Full schedule. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Now, where is I want to ask, or it might be the jail. What is the best place as far as evidence and experience that you have investigated?
See,
so that's a hard question.
The picture draws me towards the jail a lot, but the Liberty Theater that our group has that we run, we get a lot of evidence there. Everything. So, it's between those two.
Right.
It's very seldom. I think there was one time we went to the theater that we really didn't get anything.
So yeah, that's Go ahead.
The theater is also very active. The jail, so they all have their things that make them what they are. The jail itself, I've never been at a location that had as much audible noises. Like, it is constant. You can hear doors closing, people talking, yelling, the moaning. Like, it doesn't let up. And like you can hear it.
Yeah.
It's dead quiet in a jail. You have yourself, and all you hear noises like it is still in operation.
So yeah, that's incredible. And did you pick up most of those sounds on your audio and recorders?
Yes. But because the building is so big, they're louder in person than they come across on the audio.
And it was just you and Michael the whole time during the investigation on your own.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty incredible. Has there been a place where you would never want to go back because it was just too much for you, or just pretty much scared the shit out of you?
I don't have a location like that, but you sure about that attic?
I don't know.
Don't hold on us, Michael.
So years ago, what was this, 2021? 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Gettysburg, just me and her. We did a ghost tour at night, and then we separated and went to, like, groups went to separate areas. And we went to an old house where there was used as a medical area, and there was a sniper, they said, that was in the attic. We were in the attic, and out of nowhere, there was a ball on the floor. The ball rolled down the floor, made a 90-degree turn into another room, and went around the corner. Now, that ball was there for half an hour, not moving at all.
Wow.
Well, at that point, my stomach dropped, and I left her in the attic. And I was out of the house. Like, instantly sick. And there was no explanation as to why the ball rolled and made a perfect 90-degree turn.
Yeah, that's wow. And did you catch that on film?
No. That's before we had all the equipment we have now.
Right? Oh, that would have been great. So yeah, you're not thrilled about going back there then? With your camera.
I'd go back, just because for the experience of it again.
Right.
But we're actually going to Gettysburg on the 2nd of November with our team.
Fantastic. Are you going to be doing several places when you're in Gettysburg, or you just have one specific place that you want to go to?
So our team is going to the Rainsworth Lodge, but we're actually going to go a day earlier and try to do Sachs Bridge overnight, and possibly hit a couple other places while we're there to try to make the most of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're there. You might as well, get her done, As far as like equipment, again, I'm going to hit up on, do you guys use any phone apps, or do you think they're all BS, or do you think they, have some kind of credibility to them?
So for me, if they're used the correct way, I'm not for or against, I'll say.
Okay.
A lot, when I use certain things on my phone, my phone's constantly in airplane mode. So my phone won't have service or anything. I always leave my phone in airplane mode while we're investigating or using said apps. So it could go either way.
For me, I personally don't like them. And that's me having a technology background and knowing how to build apps and the things that go into that. And part of it being like a realist and trying to debunk things. Like I don't necessarily believe everything that I see. Like I try to figure out an explanation or debunk things before I say, hey, this is evidence. But I guess because of my background knowledge, I'm just not for the apps.
Yeah, right. Yeah, because I mean they do have a bad rap. I'm not one for apps either. Actually, not a lot for the fancy equipment. But again, it's about the education. It's about the experiment. So I mean, you have to use it to figure it out, to see if it's actually going to help you out, or if it's all just a load of malarkey. It's because some people have gotten some great results off of using all of those things. I'm just old school, camera and a recorder, and that's it. But it's I do think, you get better results when you're trusting your own feelings in those situations, because each one is different. And there's just so much that can contaminate stuff. That's the downside of it.
Yes.
As far hardware versus software, it is. You just and we all know how these things are made, like you said, and what goes into making them, and it's just not a reliable source to collect data on. Don't forget, guys, you can ask questions anytime you want. Just spit them out there, and I will read them off. And okay, so and your Gettysburg plans are for next year as well, or is that coming up soon?
So it's next weekend.
Next weekend, all right. Oh,
Yeah.
Halloween weekend, or is that? Or am I ahead of myself? So, not this weekend, next weekend. So that would be Halloween weekend. So, all right, that's going to be
it'll be November 2nd.
Oh, okay, after the fact.
Yeah.
So, wow, that would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging out there, because I know some people have just came back from Gettysburg, and they were just blown away by some of the stuff that they experienced. Let's see. Dotson says, I watched a group the other week that had an app with just a yes and a no button to see if anything pushed it. Simple idea, and it was great. Cheap way to use the app with no words spitting out. Interesting. I mean, if you know the name of that app, share it with everybody so people can check it out, Dotson. That's actually interesting. Now, you mentioned that you use a dead bell.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well, so far we've had all really good results. The spirits of the theater really like it, and it's become one of the forms of communication that they use quite consistently, along with the tripwire.
Okay, that's actually fantastic to hear that. Because I've seen when they come out with it, and I've seen people start using this, and I'm thinking, okay, why? And I didn't understand the electronics of it, because I was like, why is it on this box? Was I was asking. And so I did some inquiring with people that know about this stuff. And do you think you get the same results if you just used a regular bell?
I don't know. I kind of like it because of the how it uses EMF.
Right. Have you ever thought about just getting a plain bell and putting the two in the same room and see what the results would be?
I mean, we never have yet.
Yeah.
I was just, curious, because to see if, because of what is made up of the dead bell, the contamination can take place. But if you're just using a regular bell, if it's going to hit it, it's going to hit it, I mean, that's just my opinion. So I would, just, you're the first ones I've asked if you would ever thought about having both in the same area and see which one goes off.
Yeah, it's definitely a thing to try.
Yeah, my understanding is they don't go up and hit the bell. I mean, you can. It works as an actual bell. You can hit it.
Right.
But it's the EMF that triggers the sound.
Right. But I think it would be a pretty good experiment. Because I looked up the dead bells. Yeah, it's too out of my price range, guys. I have to save up for that. It's a little bit, on the high end. And I have a regular bell, $5.
Right.
And, I do a lot of cemetery work. So one of my next experiments is to bring it out into the cemetery and film and see what kind of data I collect and see if something can set it off. I mean, because you just lightly have to touch it and it's, it goes off. So it's a good experiment. But I would love to hear if you guys do that, get a regular bell and use it with the dead bell and see what kind of results you end up getting. That would be great to know. As far as where else have you guys investigated that you've gotten some great stuff or gotten nothing? And what would you recommend?
I think we definitely recommend the theater. It's quickly become one of our like favorite places to go. We really enjoyed Penhurst. We went to Paracon.
Wow.
I think we would like to do Penhurst, like aside from Paracon too, with less people. I think that would be interesting too. I mean, even when Paracon was going around, we hit a lot of locations even by ourselves.
Right.
There wasn't anyone around. So I mean, it was hit or miss with that. I mean, there's a ton of places in Gettysburg.
As far as like local stuff, do you prefer doing like the big name investigating places? You know, because everybody does the overkill, or do you prefer doing things that you know locally or in your surrounding areas that nobody knows about?
I think both.
Yeah.
I mean, we have big name locations in our bucket list that we would like to do, but then we also, you know, have kids and a life. So local also
Yeah.
is more for us. You know, an easy trip home at 4 o'clock in the morning is nice.
Easier on the babysitters. Oh, geez. Do you find that you're getting better results with doing, you know, hometown haunts as to, you know, the so-called famous locations? I mean, because to be honest, I never really heard of the jail until I seen you guys on Diane's show there. So that made me do some digging. So yeah, it was incredible. So because I enjoy that more because like I said, everybody's done all the famous places. I think it's overkill. Yeah, so I love it when everybody goes and does their own hometown stuff. You know, places that, you know, the general public and the world really doesn't know about until somebody brings that, you know, attention to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have a location like that booked in January. It's a brand new location in a town that, unless you're from that town or the area, you would have never heard of. So,
and that's stuff I love.
Yeah, so pretty excited for that one, just to kind of see what's going on. That's my current research project.
Important is research to you guys.
So I actually have a degree in history.
Fantastic.
So it's kind of second nature for me. I like to know what I'm getting into. I don't like to step into places, especially that have a dark background, I guess you want to say. There's some things that I don't mess with, so I like to stay away from that. So I guess I don't like walking in blind. So I always know something before I go in.
All right. So it's, I think, was it just your basic history or do you look up the haunted history?
Well, mainly it's the basic history of the location. We've never really looked up like the haunted.
Great.
For any of them.
Yeah, like for instance, like you talk about the jail. I grew up in the area. I've heard of Smitty. Like it was a local legend, but I had the haunt history because of Destination Fear and Paranormal Lockdown. So I knew of the area, like inside the jail, what kind of things that we could experience and where things had happened. But the jail has been closed off for a couple years, and nobody's really been around it. And I think it was shut down in '99. So I mean, 95% of my life it has not been in operation, so I didn't know too much about it.
Okay. Yeah, Julie wants to know what could you give us the name of the jail and where it is?
It's called the Old Stone Jail or the Cambria County Jail. It has two different names. It's located in Ebensburg, Pennsylvania.
Actually, I wonder how far that would be from me. Not too far. I don't know. Because I don't know, it only takes a couple hours for me to get to Pennsylvania. So But I don't know exactly whereabouts is Evansburg. You said, where is that located in Pennsylvania?
It would be southwestern PA.
Okay.
So, I mean, usually when people talk about this area, the biggest thing is the Flight 93.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
it would be about an hour north of Flight 93.
Okay. So I mean, because you always hear about Hershey, Pennsylvania, and all the other ones, but all the smaller towns. Like I said, that's why I love it when people do. You guys do your local famous folklore haunts, and then you bring it to the stage for all of us to experience. Because, like I said, everybody's used to everything else. As far as your bucket list, what else is on your bucket list? Is it more famous locations, or is it just stuff that you've heard about?
So, for me, number one would be Crescent, the Crescent Prison. That's number one on my list.
Yeah, I would like to go to Crescent. So it's a big name in our area. I wouldn't say it's like world known. I mean, Project Fear has been there several times. I mean, so there are TV episodes of Crescent. Ghost Hunters was there. So there are several episodes, but it's not one of the big names that people throw up.
Right. Actually, I do think I remember seeing that on Ghost Hunters. I think, yeah, because we're all pretty much been weaned on, the TAPS team. So, how long do you think that you guys will be doing paranormal investigations? Is there going to be a time limit, or do you think you're just going to do it till you can't?
I don't think it has an expiration date for us.
No.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. You're trying to talk to me.
Another question here I got for you is: what is your beliefs on the afterlife? What do you believe that we become after this life?
I haven't decided.
Okay, that's a good question, or a good answer to that one. Good. What about you, Michael?
Yeah,
You're not.
I don't know. There's so many things that you hear. Like, everybody has their different beliefs based on what they believe in with it.
Right.
So I think anything's a possibility when it comes to the afterlife like that. Do I believe in one more than the other? Not really. I do believe the spirits are definitely there, and they definitely want to talk, as long as they're respectful to them.
Right. Julie, they are. It's Ashley and Michael, and they are with Dark Hollow Paranormal. What do you believe that spirits have a time limit in this plane, or do you think it's just infinite time? I mean, because there's some people that think that after a while a spirit will just no longer be here.
I don't think they have a time limit.
I wouldn't say so.
I mean, I think there could be a reason why they're here, and you can help them get to where they need to be, but I don't think there's a specific time limit on them.
Yeah, I agree.
That's great. Yeah, because there's a lot of people that have done investigations of same places year after year after year, and then they said eventually they just get totally nothing after maybe 20 years of investigating a spot. So that gave them the thought that maybe the spirits were just on a certain time limit to be here on this plane, and then they moved on. But as far as I mean, everybody knows the paranormal doesn't happen, when you snap your fingers. So it's,
Right.
I know you're probably thinking, they're probably thinking, well, I've had enough of this crap, go away, and so they're not going to perform.
Yes, definitely.
Parasola says Crescent is dealing with a property dispute. They said, but hoping it'll be back to open, which I'm totally reading.
So right now they're running a haunted house out of it, and the ones that are currently running that have said that they want to open it back up to paranormal investigations, but there's no timeline on when that may happen.
So, well, at least they've got activity there. They've got things going on there. As far as the building itself, it looks like it's in great condition. What were your thoughts? Is it in really good condition?
I'm sorry, you broke up there. We talking about Crescent?
Yeah, about the jail. Is it in good condition, or do you think that there is a issue with maybe them shutting it down because of disrepair? Or
Crescent? No, there was a property dispute. There are different owners that are now in it. But the people that are currently in it are working on making repairs to the property.
Great. So there's a chance for you to continue. Some investigators can go. Friday says, do you think a spirit is actually from a human body or a parallel entity that shares the consciousness? Ooh, good question, Friday.
I think it could be multiple. I don't think it's solely just based human wise, so to say.
Yeah, I don't think it's black and white either. I think there are many different kinds of spirits.
What are your feelings on demons? Do you believe that they exist, or do you just think it's a cranky spirit?
I the same thing. I think there are different kinds.
Yeah, that's definitely one of those. There's definitely different kinds, and provoking doesn't help.
Right. Have you ever had an interaction with a dark spirit or a supposed demon?
No.
Demon wise, no.
No, we stay away from that stuff.
So have you ever been touched, scratched, pushed, any kind of physical things happening during your investigations?
Yep, I was scratched at Eastern State in Philly. When I was there, I had 3 scratch marks down my back. I was pushed at the Cambria County Jail down the flight of stairs.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I've had.
Boy, they like to pick on you.
It's a female thing in that prison. It's a female thing, 100%. Because I know when the group before us, the 27 Spirits, when they went there to the jail, they were saying as well she was being more affected than he was.
So yeah, I have noticed that a lot of people, when they're doing investigations, especially in large buildings, prisons, the females are the ones they pretty much are drawn to. And I agree, Parasol, demons are party poopers. We have a question from Julie R. I got here late. Who has been your biggest influence in the paranormal? Great question.
I would say as of lately, for me, I really respect the Project Fear group. They're, even whenever you meet them in person, they're very down to earth, good people.
They're laid back.
And
Yeah, we met them multiple days when we were at Paracon, and they were just, hey, how you doing? They'd walk by, remember who you were. They showed you down to earth.
Oh, so oh, that's great. So,
Not all high and mighty, like, ooh, I'm famous, you know.
right, right. As far as okay, like you're saying, Project Fear, and like we've mentioned TAPS and all of these other ones that show up at these Paracons that are TV wise. How much of their material do you believe is authentic, and how much of it do you think it is Hollywood?
I think it depends on the show.
Yeah.
I truly 100% believe in Project Fear. I can't say that for other shows.
Okay, here we've got a question. Back to the Bone. Back to the Bone wants, what do you think of Project Fear investigating with known fakers like Sam and Colby?
We don't watch Sam and Colby.
Good, don't do that. Don't.
I mean, I'm not going to call them out for trying to say, hey, let's work with another group. I think, they, with a certain group that they did have with them at the one location, they dug deeper into it after the fact and said, if you're not willing to prove it to us, then nobody's going to believe you.
Right. See, that's the big thing that's going on now is, a lot of these younger groups or whatever, they're doing their thing and it's all for clicks and views. So then, and you understand when people are involved with television, there is, that one portion where they do have a scripted, program set up. They have to follow it. But that's why, they were asking, what do you think, how much of it do you think is authentic and how much do you think is just made for television? Which I'm glad I don't have to deal with something like that where they do,
Well, I mean, since Project Fear went out on their own, they got canceled through the Discovery Channel, and they actually went out on their own, and they're doing their own editing and
right,
all done in house. They don't have anybody to answer to.
There you go.
I think that makes a big difference with them.
So that's that's great. When you're running the show, it's definitely different rules. Michael wants to know, what is your favorite type of haunting to investigate? Residual or intelligent? Good question, Michael.
Intelligent. Just because want to hear the story, not so much as just hearing noises and it just being present.
Yeah, like actually getting to understand what happened, how it happened, the depthness of it.
Here, I just want to welcome Anna Banana. Hi, honey. How you doing? Ghost Rider, welcome. Friday likes you guys. He says, I like these two. You have fans. Don't forget, guys, to go over and subscribe to them. Let's see. Angelina says here, since they've been out on their own and investigating with known fakers, do you think Project Fear is more believable or less believable?
I don't think you can hold them accountable for other people's actions.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer, Ashley. Julie says, I must be behind the times. I've never heard of Project Fear. Julie. I don't even have cable, and I know. Let's see. What is this? Rob. Hi, Rob. Welcome. Project Fear is sometimes on reality TV on Freeview late some nights. Oh, okay. I'll have to check it because I don't watch regular television, guys. But I do know
that would have been back when they were Destination Fear, when they were actually through Discovery.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
Whenever they went out on their own is when they changed it from Destination Fear to Project Fear. So they had like their own name. They could do their own thing with it.
Right. So they cut all ties with the
Yeah.
corporates. That's great. Let's see. Ghost Rider 33 says, I saw a ghost once. Girlfriend's best friend looked over. She was in the passenger seat looking at me, and I was alone, and she was dead. Asking her what she looked like described her 100%. Wow, that's an experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Gee, I don't know. I don't know what I would do if you're sitting at an intersection and a ghost just shows up in your car.
Yeah.
I don't think they would be good for, your driving experience.
Yeah, I mean, I will say though, since joining with Dark Hollow, and we grew a lot with them, learning from each member of the team, learning different styles and different ways of doing things that we would have never thought of before.
Say that's the great part of the community, and that's why I always push, on my podcasts and the magazine that I put out. It's community based. I want everybody's experiences, and then we can teach each other and learn from each other, because it's a big benefit for the community, as a whole.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things with Dark Hollow is bringing all the paranormal groups together as one. None of the fighting and all this. We're all in it for the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, the drama. You got to stay away from the drama. It's just ridiculous. And there's a lot of it going on lately, and it's really annoying.
Yes.
Sorry, everybody, but it is. It's BS and it's annoying. Everybody needs to grow up.
Which I know we this past year we did our first Para-Unity is what it was at the time. We did our own little Paracon out in Nannylow, Pennsylvania, where the theater's at, and we're going to be actually doing a second one this upcoming year. What was it? August?
It's August 23rd, 2025.
August 23rd. Where we're just bringing a bunch of different groups together. Everybody's kind of hanging out and talking and learning from each other all day.
I think that's fantastic. It really is. And then you can get people in like, electronic specialists and this and that, who can go over like equipment and how it's, because that's the thing is, how it's made, how it's supposed to work. I've spoke with a lot of people. I would love it if everybody that has done investigating for 20, 30 plus years, because you're collecting all this data for 30 years, there's got to be something that you can combine with other people's data to come up with something that actually is going to work on an investigation, hands down.
Right.
Most of the things that are made today are made by people that haven't even stepped foot in a spooky room, never mind done an investigation. Let's see. Julie R goes, wasn't Project Fear debunked a couple of times? I don't know, Julie. Probably. Like I said, maybe when they were working. See, it's how, like I said, when you're involved with television, you've got to, you have to factor that in. There's going to be some stuff that just isn't real. And I think that's why a lot of them get out of the limelight because of that. But when they dangle that big money carrot in front of you, it's kind of hard. Friday says, study the electromagnetic field. Yes. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah. Bad to the Bone says that Beardo debunked them. Okay. So you guys go check out Beardo's older videos. I'm sure it's probably on there. Oh, but then here we go. And that's true. I agree, Anna. She says that she finds that debunking doesn't always prove or even say that they're 100% debunked as a group. Very few I've seen about Project Fear aren't defined, in my opinion. Or definite. I'm sorry, definite in my opinion. That's the truth, though, because we don't know. The bottom line is we don't know shit, guys. It's all speculation. It's all what we're learning as we go along. Yes, we've all had our own experiences like you guys did. But I'm telling you, that photograph right there, what is that if that's not proof that something is there?
Right.
You know, and I'm going to show it again for the guys who weren't in here when I had it up before. I mean, you look at that. That is someone standing there. So how do you explain that away? You can't. So that's why I would be back there all the time trying to catch more of that, or really trying to dig in to figure it out. Because like I said, to me, and I know to you guys, it looks like a guard. I would start doing history on finding out what guard, why is that guard still there? Who is he? Why is he there? So yeah, just put that up so the rest of you guys can see, because that is just a fantastic photograph. And I know you guys had to have been excited when you were going through the footage and you found that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it was definitely a shock because it wasn't something I even knew I had until we were just looking through footage when we were taking a break.
And like, what was your reaction when you know, like, Michael, oh shit, or, you know.
Yeah, pretty much. He goes, I got something.
That would be me. I'd be running through. Of course, my husband is like, so. He's pretty much just my ride. He don't want to be bothered with any of the paranormal stuff. Lurking spirits. Yeah, that is an amazing photo. It really is. And yeah, I would just be totally all over that, doing some serious research, trying to figure out who that is. Somebody has to know why that person or who that person was. That's just totally incredible. I'd have that framed, guys. I don't know about you. Because that is like, I have never even, you know, I've gotten weird stuff, but that is just the number one, what everybody's looking for. And you guys caught it. What is Friday says proper science has a general field theory. This ties to, let me pop it up on the screen, guys. Together tie this ties everything but gravity together, or tries to do so. The field of spiritual paranormal study has no such thing. It is all speculation. Exactly, because there hasn't been any definite proof. And let's see, Carla goes. What do we got here? Yes, Carla, that was in a prison, or well, jail. They consider it a jail. Jail/prison is where they were. And yes, actually, this is the picture I was bragging about, Angelina, that they caught. I told you about. It's just amazing. So you guys, your ears were probably burning when I was bragging about the picture. About you guys coming on, because I just think that is just the best.
Yeah, it was a really, really lucky shot.
Yeah, it was.
So this is actually the brightened picture. The original picture, like, unless you were really looking for something, like, you wouldn't even have saw it.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't show up as well. Yeah, because maybe you sent me the other. Because I do have that. I did put that all in the magazine, all the pictures that you sent. But this definitely shows exactly what that dark spot there that was in the other photo. Julie says, people generally would think I'm crazy if I told of the things I've experienced to witness. Julie, we've all been through that. We have all been through that. You know, people say, well, what do you do? And I'll say, what I'm doing. And they look at me like, what are you, nuts? Do you guys get that same that same kind of response when you tell them that you're doing the paranormal?
Yeah, it's yeah, so I actually work right down the street from the jail. So it was a big topic of conversation leading up to us going there, and then they still talk about it now because the photograph and the owner of the jail actually has it on the website. So it's a very common thing that gets brought up a lot because it is surfaced around all the employees. And I'm pretty visible at work, so they're always coming up to me, and it's one of those conversations that is pretty constantly get started, and a lot of people are, everyone has their own beliefs, and some people tell
Right.
me that, I'm full of crap, and others are like, "That's no way, I can't believe you got that."
So yeah, I did. Here it is. So I know, yeah, everybody goes through it. Anna says, "Abandoned the bone." I don't think anything is 100% paranormal or not proof of the paranormal. It's all interesting, and the best experiences are probably the personal ones. Exactly, because how do you prove personal experience unless you catch it on film or on audio? And then again, there will be people out there just saying, "Well, no, I don't believe that." Well, okay. Angeline wants to, do you have the original picture? That looks like it was brightened up. Yeah, they did brighten it up so that you could see it better. And let's see. Faith says, this is a picture that Ashley and Michael had captured. Yes, it is. That's why I thought it would be great to, to have you guys on, because you don't get pictures like that very often. And
No.
So you guys are really, really lucky. Oh, Carla likes the Halloween background. Thanks. I've been playing around with some computer stuff.
Yeah, so another background to that picture too is so we took it obviously when we were on the top floor, and when we were going down the flights of stairs, that is when I got pushed. And when we finally reached the bottom, on the bottom ground, like where that guard is standing, you could hear someone walking right where we were and caught that picture. So and that rings true to that location.
Excuse me.
Spirits are always messing with you. Just when you look one direction, they'll do something in the opposite direction.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, excuse me, my goodness. Angelisa would like to see the original. My God, I'm choking to death, guys. They did send me that, Angelina. Do I have your permission, guys, to send that to Bad to the Bone?
Yeah, it's watermarked, so it's good.
Okay, no, I always ask. It's your picture. You only gave me the okay for the magazine, not to be sharing it out, but I can send it to you, Angelina. Yes, very, very interesting.
It's also, the original is also visible on my TikTok as well.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you can either find it there, guys, or Angelina, you could just wait till I send it to you. But even though, Lurking Spirit says, even in that photo, if it wasn't brightened, you could still see the apparition. So, like I'm saying, that's incredible. It really is. Let's see. Rob, how is the washing getting out? You're hearing the fans, Rob, because this is hotter than what in this room. So I've got 2 fans going. I'm not washing. If it's annoying, guys, I can shut it off. Let's see here. Luden's Cough Drops are the sponsor, folks. Real funny, Bill. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, guys, do you have any more questions? Come on, throw out these questions so that they're here to answer. As far as what when you were going to Paracons and stuff, how do you? What is that experience like? I've never been to one. What is it like? Meeting all of these different people. You guys swapping stories, photographs.
Yeah, I mean it. We haven't had any negative experiences. It's always like just one big community, and especially when you go to Penhurst Paracon, I don't think you really realize how big the community is, and then you get there and there's hundreds of people just in one vicinity of the grounds.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So Angelina has a question. What was the best EVP that you have gotten?
Recently the best one we got was from the dungeon of the jail. So we were filming, we had a digital recorder, and we were walking around You can hear someone moaning in the dungeon behind us. And that was captured on film and through the digital recorder, but we did not hear it audibly. But it is very loud and noticeable on film and the digital recorder.
Wow. Have you ever experienced spirit or entity or whatever you want to prefer to call it speak directly in your ear?
I have not.
I believe that I did, and actually in Smitty's cell, there was something directly behind me.
Do you know what was whispered, or you just couldn't make out what it was?
There was there was so much talking that you really couldn't make anything out. Like I said, it's really like the jail is still in operation.
Wow, that's really incredible. Michael wants to know, have you ever experienced anything that you thought was paranormal, but it turns out that it wasn't?
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're investigating with other people, and at first you think something happened, and then somebody is like, oh, wait, no, that was me.
Yeah, you're asking like, oh, is that you? Was that you? Yeah.
Right. So it's important for you guys to debunk as you go along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not just going with, oh, we got it. It's definitely something. It's, oh, did you see that? What did you think?
Yeah. Like I said before, I'm a realist and I look for explanations. I'm not the first person to believe anything until I know I can't make sense of it.
Anna says, do you find that you get more evidence in a certain location than another, like jail, hospital, or home, etc.?
No. And I mean, you would think so, because that's primarily what you see. But like I said, like one of the locations that we always consistently get a ton of evidence at was a theater.
Yeah, an old theater.
Yeah.
Just depends. Oh, wrong one. Okay, Friday says, what is your favorite dessert and why is it cheesecake? Just kidding. But what are your thoughts on visible orbs and not photo dust orbs?
I'm gonna say I really don't have any thoughts on it because I've never seen one. And again, I guess that goes back to like being a realist, and like I haven't seen it myself to fully understand what others have seen.
Right.
So I guess up until that happens, I don't want to form an opinion.
Fantastic. Anna says, is it more common to get evidence in the dark than during the daytime?
I would say yes. I mean,
we've had it happen both ways, though.
Yeah, I mean, we've had it both ways, but I guess when you consider in the dark, it's quieter. It's usually quieter at night, so your
senses are more heightened.
Yeah, you're more likely to get that.
So yeah, because that's mostly why people, I believe, do most of their investigations in the dark hours, is because you're going to get more evidence on a camera during the night, because it's going to show up better. But I look at it this way. I mean, I hope this is what you believe as well, is that if a place has any activity, it's going to be day or night. There's no specific time, hour, or Let's see, Ghost Rider. Anyone ever lose a family at bedside and right after they pass, try an EVP? That's, to be honest with you, I don't think anybody would ever think of doing that, but that's actually a pretty good question. And Steve said he was just looking over some of Dark Hollow's material. He says, pretty impressive. Steve's a great guy, so that's a good compliment. Thank you, Steve. Fantastic. Keep rubbing in the cheesecake. I can't get any. What's up with that? Build cheesecake rolls. They're going to turn into food, guys. That's what's going to happen there. Besides doing Gettysburg and all of that, what are your other places that you have scheduled for investigations in the future?
Currently on our schedule is the Rainworth Lodge on November 2nd. There's the Raymond House in West Virginia. Heyman House. Yeah, it's the Heyman House. Sorry, in West Virginia in December. We recently booked the house in Loretto that I was talking about for January. Of course, Paracon at Penhurst in May, and our Perry United Paracon will be August 23rd.
Nice. So you guys got a full calendar going on. Friday says, would you think that while the senses are more active at night, this may actually attract or even manifest more activity?
So I have a different perspective on this question. And that's solely based on I can only actually see out of one eye. I've always been blind in one eye. So my other senses, I believe, are always heightened because I've had to adapt to things because I don't have things like peripheral vision.
Right.
So to me personally, it doesn't matter if it is day or night. I have to rely on my other senses more than the average person already does.
So, well, yeah. So do you think that gives you a better advantage because your senses are heightened?
I wouldn't call it an advantage. I mean, the experience that I had at the jail, I think played a part in it, how I was so affected and how I could like something was always on me, because it's something that I go about my daily life and thinking about. Like I always give the example of, how when there's a fire extinguisher on the wall, if there's like a bump out, I walk into them all the time because I can't judge the distance.
Okay.
So for me, like just knowing and feeling like something is beside me, that's just during the day thing. So when I walked in the jail and something was instantly on me, I mean, I think that played a part how I noticed it right away, but it also made it worse because I knew it was there and it didn't stop.
Right.
I didn't have a moment to take a breather. And in fact, it actually got so bad at one point when I saw a shadow figure on a wall that I actually had a mini panic attack start, and I had to catch myself.
So yeah, that's what do you consider yourself as sensitive then because of your heightened? Okay.
I just think I rely on my other senses more. So it's just second nature for me to already be using it.
Okay. Yeah, Faith says, from what I've learned, that is definitely a thing. Other senses are heightened to compensate for the loss of another. Yes, it definitely is. I have a friend who is totally blind. She was that way since birth. And yeah, she can hear things clearer than we do, further away. Everything is heightened, a sense of smell, all of it. So it definitely, nature, compensates for, one loss, and makes up with something else. Do you find that to be a hindrance, or does it help when you're doing investigation?
I can't answer that because I don't know any different.
Okay. Michael, do you see that she has maybe a little bit of an advantage during an investigation?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm going to say no, only because, yeah, she may be relying on other things at that time, but at the same time, she doesn't know what's right next to her, or so she still has that in the back of her mind
Right.
of, is there something here? Am I going to walk into something here? So it, the good comes with the bad with it. Because, yeah, you're heightening your other senses, but at the same time, it's also in your mind thinking, is there something there? Am I going to walk into this? So it's a mix of the two, in my
Right.
opinion.
No, what I'm wondering, because I'm trying to think of how I want to word this. Because of your disability, do you think that makes you more vulnerable when you're going on an investigation, especially in a place like a prison?
No, I mean, I don't see it as a disability,
Okay.
just because, I mean, like I said, I don't know any different.
Right.
I've just always adapt to the situation, and it's not something like you wouldn't know it unless I just told it to you.
Right.
Like, I played soccer all throughout high school, and my coach didn't even know it. Like at one point, he said, like, he was yelling at me because I missed a ball, and I I just had enough that day, and I was like, you do realize I can't see it. Like, I guess all the time where that ball's going. So it's like, it's not something I normally talk about, and like I said, you wouldn't know it unless I told you that it's there. I've just,
Right.
and it's not something like I say, like, hey, like, this is going on and I'm feeling it because of this. It's just that, like I said, I don't know any different, so I just don't talk about it.
Right.
I don't consider myself special in any way or need any accommodations. It's just,
Well, we're all
it's my everyday
special.
life.
We're all special in one way or another. But what I'm asking is that, because I know you're not going to walk around with a banner, hey, I can't see in one eye, but do you think that the spirits can tell that you have blindness in one eye? So do you think it is attracting them because they maybe consider you vulnerable?
I don't let it show, because
I would
once,
say no.
even when everything was going on in the jail, he didn't know, because I wouldn't speak it, because once you speak it, then they know they have the upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
So when things were going on, he had no idea. We didn't discuss it until, like, we were back in the gear room or something else, or we took a break outside.
Hey, this is interesting that Friday says, Steve, do you know of any blind or deaf ghost hunters? And apparently Steve has worked with blind. How does that work? We're going to have to I'm going to have you back on, Steve, and ask you that question. How does that work, being a blind paranormal investigator? The hearing is incredibly heightened, yes, but I mean, how do they get around without breaking their necks? Because a lot of these places are old and like where you guys just came from a jail. I mean, if you were blind, I couldn't see somebody falling down the stairs or. So yeah, that's let's see. What does Ghost Rider have to say? Can two people have the same dream? I wonder. Sometimes I really wonder if people in my dreams are real people in the same dream. Well, it's a good question. I know that when I used to sleep over at a cousin's house, we would be sleeping and we would have a conversation while we were sleeping, which used to freak my mother and my aunts out. We would talk back and forth to each other. Let's see. Chat GPT gave me about 5 names of people who are involved with the very study. Okay, this is apparently something they got going on in the chat, but excuse me. As far as investigations and stuff, do your kids ever wonder what the heck you're doing, or do they think, mom, dad, you guys are crazy? Or are they old yet to say that, say anything about it?
So we have 4 kids, all in different ages. So they all have their different perspectives. Say one of them is interested in it, and then we also have a 5-year-old. She calls it spooky things. So she'll sit here and she'll watch, we'll sit here and watch Project Fear with us. But you can't get her to actually step foot anywhere.
That's what we were wondering, you know. Go ahead.
It even took a little convincing. We actually stopped in the jail to talk to lurking spirits about the podcast we were doing with them, and even get her in the front room of the jail. We had to keep telling her there was nothing wrong and she'd be fine.
Well, because we were wondering if you're grooming future investigators. So that'd be interesting to see, because a lot of kids, you know, they'll grow up and say, well, that's what they do, but I'm not interested. And then you got other kids that were like, yeah, let's go, you know. Rob wants to know, okay, right. So here we go. I know people hate it, but have you tried the Estes method? Ashley, that would be more intense for you, possibly.
I have done it, yes. I don't think it was any more intense than anybody else. I mean, like the last time I did it with the group, they tried to get me out of it by shining a light in my eye. And he had told me afterwards, they're like, we couldn't figure out why you weren't getting out of it, because we kept shining the light. And I'm like, because I can't see the light. I
mean, so the joke's on you. No.
I'm like, yeah. So that's why I didn't know, because literally couldn't see it.
Right. So the joke was on them. Sorry. So that's I would have to be playing around with people too much that would drive them nuts. Finish the day. Let's see if we missed any questions. I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. If I missed anybody's question, just type it in again, guys. I try not to. Ghostwriter, that is a totally legitimate question. So I'm saying if I missed one. Okay, Michael here. I tried it out in the woods with an app. Wasn't sure if it was actual experience, but it said native mound and hand. Oh, that's the. Okay, those are the mounds that you have discovered, Michael. Okay. Excuse me. And you're saying, oh, and he says he was doing it with the app. Yeah, they don't really use the apps, Michael. See what this one has to say here. If you mess with a ghost demon as to harm, you can't wait until you die, or is there a time limit on the offer? Well, I'm thinking, I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, I have never had a demon experience, to be honest with you.
I've never dealt with them and don't plan on it.
Amen to that.
Yeah, it's just not something we do.
Yeah, as far as provoking, do you guys provoke on an investigation?
No.
Okay. Friday wants to know what brought you to the paranormal field.
Just something that I've always been interested in. I mean, I'm sure millions of other people watched Ghost Adventures in the beginning, in the first couple seasons. And then kind of got into my own investigating on my own and have a whole different perspective.
Yeah, I would say anything for that. We all know too much about them guys, but yeah, seeing that, like you said, where you went to school and stuff, you've had a lot of experiences. So, and I think it fits in perfectly with your history background, which is fantastic, because if you do go somewhere, then you know what you're looking for as far as historic reference to building or town or wherever you're going. Do you find that it's more buildings are haunted, or do you believe that it's more that the ground that the building is on is haunted?
I think it could be a mix of the two.
Yeah, I think it depends on the location. Because I mean, obviously, like like if you're gonna talk about Gettysburg, a lot of things happened in the middle of a field. So,
Right.
I mean, it depends on where you're at, what you're looking at.
I love
A little sneaky surprise on the side.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider, I think time works very different in the spirit world. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I would say there's some, I believe there's some truth into that, and it also, I think, goes along with intelligent and residual haunts. Intelligent is, more likely to know about what's going on, where residual has no time.
So, yeah, I don't think there is time exists on the other side. I mean, what would you need it for? I think, once we pass over to the or whatever you want to call it, pass over or evolve or move on to a higher existence, I don't think time is relevant. Let's see. Anna says, do any of you think you've actually ever come across a demon?
I mean, for us,
No.
no.
Yeah, no, I've never experienced anything evil or so-called demonish, or no, not even a grouchy one. It's, I've had some stuff, where I've caught and it says, you're doing your investigation, you'll get out. Oh, okay. That doesn't mean, it's a demon. It's just, he don't want you there. Let's see. You say, well, when I pass over, I'm breathing. I forget I do that. I can't see that. There it says, well, when I pass over, stopped breathing, I saw a woman in the tunnel. Then dated some woman 20 years later, also says her again after 8 years later, or 8 years, the day she passed over. I'm confused. When I passed over, stopped breathing, I saw a woman in the tunnel. Okay. Then dated same woman 20 years later. Also say her again. I think you've seen her again 8 years to the day of her Passover. I guess I'm reading that right, guys. I'm not sure. All right, here's a question from Friday. According to the modern science, space and time are of the same fabric. According to astral projection and NDE, there is no time. Everything is just now. Your thoughts? Would you like me to read it again, or you're thinking?
I would say in the now there's time. We have to have a unit of measurement,
Right.
and time is our current unit of measurement, and how we distinct things.
Right. So this is, yeah, you believe it? Well, yeah. But again, like I said, I think when we move on to that higher plane of existence, yeah, there's no need for time. Because I think, you could show up whenever you want. I mean, you want to call it a spirit, you're a spirit, and anything, you could go wherever you want. I'm pretty sure. I mean, how are they going to stop you from, going anywhere or doing anything? But yes, that was a very deep question, Friday. Thank you. So anybody else have any other questions? Astral protection. Okay. Oh, yep. Here we go. Rob's got a question. Do you believe objects can be haunted? Good one. Ryan sees Christine, the car sitting in the driveway on his travels. So do you guys believe in haunted objects?
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you had experiences with any haunted objects?
Personally,
no.
Well, I believe they exist. Yes.
Now, my question is, why do you think that an object would be haunted? Why would you think a spirit would want to inhabit, an object?
That could be a number of reasons.
Yeah.
Their attachment to the item.
Yeah. That's what I would say.
Maybe
if it's like a doll that was something they always had with them, they never let it go, and it just ended up.
Or it could be an object that traps their energy when they passed or something.
Or it could just be people doing stupid things.
Right. Like, have you ever had any experiences with Ouija boards?
Nope.
Not something we mess with.
Very good. Very good. Is that because you think that it is an instrument of foul play? Or, I mean, a lot of people don't believe in the Ouija board. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm not against them, I would say. It's not something I've ever felt the need I'd want to use.
Yeah, I think that goes along with my personal opinion of like the G word. I just not something I choose to associate myself with.
Okay. So you feel if there was anything that you did use, you might have some bad repercussions.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because like Ghost Rider says, they sell them as a child's toy. Yeah, because that's how I always used to think of it too. It's made by Milton Bradley. I mean, if you have evil intentions and then you're trying to stir up trouble, then I think maybe there might be a possibility. But as far as, I've done the research on how they supposedly work. So I really don't think there's any kind of solid standing on a Ouija board. Anna wants to know, I'd like to know if the Robert the Doll or the Annabelle have attachments. Super curious about that. Again, personal beliefs. I mean, I know. What are you guys' thoughts on those two items? Do you think they're actually have attachments, or do you think it's just Hollywood stepping in again?
I think at one time, I think throughout history, they have taken on something different than its origin.
That's actually an interesting answer, because usually you get people, no, there's nothing wrong with it. And I've done this and done that and nothing's ever happened. So I think it all just stems to belief.
Yeah.
If you're either going to believe it or you're not.
Yeah, everybody's going to have their own belief when it comes to the paranormal and what they personally experienced compared to what somebody else has experienced.
Right. Now, has anyone played Light as a father as teen? I don't even know what that is. Have you guys ever heard of that?
I have no
Played
idea.
Light as a father teen? No, sorry, you got us lost on that one, Ghost Rider. I don't even know what that is. Rob has played it. Okay, so it's something that they're in the loop and we know nothing about. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. I have heard of that one. Yeah, I don't think that's real either. I don't think anybody could pick up a human being with 2 fingers. If you can, then boy, that would make the news. So, so yeah, I don't. Oh, okay, that's what he was talking about. It's a typo. Light as a feather. That's what he was asking. Because I'm thinking light as a father. I don't know what he's talking about. Gotcha. No, I don't. Have you ever played that? I've never played it, guys.
I'm not even exactly sure what it is.
Oh geez, wasn't it just like during the I want to say early 90s or late 80s, where you would have one person lay on the floor and then you'd have other people surround them and they would put 2 fingers underneath and then you would chant light as a feather, stiff as a board, and the person is supposed to levitate.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, that was probably prior to when I was born.
So we're all old, guys. Sorry. They don't know nothing about it. Let's see here. Friday says, I have my beliefs and things, but I would never present them as fact. I try to find an answer that will fit with as many ideas and science as possible. Some people believe that the earth is flat. Yeah, please. I didn't want to go there with those people. They need a wake-up call. Oh, geez. Bottom line is, if the earth was flat, then why is it that when we have an eclipse, stuff would show up rounded during the eclipse? It would show up flat. Not, come on. But those, that's my opinion. So let's see. What else do we got going on here? At school with the kids that attacked by demons was a trip. I saw the girl just floating in the air, not fake. Yeah, okay, yikes. That's kind of scary. I don't know. Okay, guys, any more questions before we let Michael and Ashley go on their way? I'm sure they probably got some stuff they got to take care of. It is a weekday. Hi, Susan. You're popping in towards the end. Get some questions out quick. I hope you guys have enjoyed your time here. Hey, Jonathan. Hi, how are you? Is there anything else you'd like to fill us in about the future of just you guys and Dark Hollow Paranormal?
No, not really. I think we already touched on, the Paracon and just for all building a community and everyone working together.
Fantastic. Friday sub to you. Looking forward to seeing your content. Yes, you guys all, just sub to them, get their numbers up, enjoy what they've been doing. And of course, they have the pictures of the jail all on, you said your TikTok?
Yeah, I personally have a TikTok. The Dark Hollow YouTube page, if that's what you're referring to,
right,
isn't personally run by us.
Oh, okay. So your stuff's not going to be on there. Where can everybody find your things? Or do you have... Go ahead.
I have solely been posting on TikTok.
Okay, so it would be just what would be the name of TikTok? How they find you?
My @ is ALS21520.
So that's where you're going to find Ashley, and that's where you'll find some goodies to check out. Is there a reason why you guys don't have your own YouTube channel?
It's not something I'm personally interested in. Nor do I really have the time.
Does take time. Because they would be great, just to be able to, or because now that you guys are in with the Dark Hollow, just, post your stuff on there, and then, people can experience what you've got going on. I absolutely just, if anybody's interested, I'm sure you guys would be willing to do an interview with anybody else on here in the chat. We have many people in the chat that have their own channels and do interviewing. So I think, just, to get you guys out there, get it, you might have to have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, my work schedule's a little complicated for that. Like, this is actually very well past my bedtime. I actually get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So.
Oh my goodness! Okay, guys. So then you should have said something. I wouldn't have ran it for the full 2 hours.
No, you're fine.
Oh, jeez. No, that's terrible because I hate waking up that early, and then you only went to bed like an hour ago. So I want to thank everybody for joining us here. It was great having you guys here, Ashley and Michael. I really enjoyed the interview. I hope you did.
Yeah.
And we look forward to hearing about your further investigations, and maybe even the Paracon, and you could share it. Anything that you ever want to share with the magazine, you are more than welcome. Just send me the submissions and I'll put it in for you guys.
Okay.
Excuse me, because it's all a community thing. So I want everybody to share. And as far as anything else, we just look forward to what's next to come for Ashley and Michael and the Dark Hollow Paranormal. Until then, guys, thank you again so much. I appreciate everybody. Please remember to like and subscribe. And also there is option now for you guys to become members of my channel. And that is a coffee account. I will be doing members only videos pretty soon, guys. So if you want to check those out, please become a member and help support the channel. I really, really appreciate it. Until then, guys, thank you for joining us on the Raw Side. Everybody have a great night.
The haunting hour is at hand. Ghostly haunting since time began. Raw side paranormal seeks the truth, looking for some kind of real proof. Creaky floorboards and eerie dark mist. Grab your camera and document this. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the wrong side. A slamming door causes a fright. A shadowed hand appears in sight. Grab your REM pods and your K2s or anything else you can use. No time to run, no time to hide. We are catching all of this on the raw side. The icy air touches your neck. You feel like screaming, but you stay in check. Orbs rising up to take the magical